We all know those clients that micromanage us to the point where we're so stressed that the money and the job isn't even worth it and we want to just quit as soon as possible. And so this is going to be the exact strategy and some tips that you can use to avoid those clients as much as possible and only get the best client for the job you do. So, how do you deal with difficult customers in the construction industry? The first step actually is recognizing the signs of a difficult customer before they even become one. And so, when communicating with the customer before they put down the deposit and before you even start working for them, you need to look out for these couple of things that are red flags and that can potentially cause the customer to be one of those that really, really suck. And so look out for clients who are constantly changing their mind on ideas and just things in general, because most of the time they'll be constantly changing their mind on the project they want and what they want done, and it's just going to be causing you so much problems, so many resources, and you don't want to have that problem, right? Also, look out for the clients that have unrealistic expectations. That can either be for a price for the job or for a timeline of the job. Either one, if it's unrealistic, look out for them because they're going to be the one causing you the most trouble and the most pain. And the final one is they're simply hard to communicate with. So if their point of communication is like you have to call them a couple of times before they even pick up, or you're texting them on one day and they don't text back until 2 days later, if they're hard to communicate with like that, I would just cut communications with them and just cut them as a client because they're going to be a terrible client to work with anyways. Spotting these red flags can save you a lot of time on the headaches later on. And so if you don't spot them and you take this client on, the headache is just not going to be worth the money. Coming back home every day really mad. And so spotting them is a really important part of the business. Also, you have to set expectations with the client so there'll be no confusion later on. Because if you don't and they have an expectation that is unrealistic, that you can't provide, that is going to cause so many problems later on, and it's going to cause a bigger headache than even before. One of the best ways to do this is by setting clear expectations from the get-go, right? You have to establish project timelines, budgets, and deliverables in a detailed contract that they can understand, read, and know exactly every detail. And if you don't outline this, there is some room for confusion and some room for them to not really have a realistic expectation, and it can cause problems down the road. Also, don't be afraid to be assertive. You are the authority. You're the one doing the job. They hired you to do so. So if a client is telling you you should do it this way and you're doing it a different way because that's the way you've always been doing it and it's been working well for you, educate the client on your way and tell them that your way works for you and it's still going to give the same outcome. If they still don't want to take on your way of doing the job, I would recommend just cutting the client, because at the end of the day, you're the authority. They should not be telling you what to do. You should be doing what you know how to do, as long as you get the result at the end. And so you want to tell them this patiently so it doesn't seem like you're being aggressive, but you also want to be assertive in your communication and tell them exactly the strategy and why you use it. And let's say it gets really bad to a point where everything you tell them they're not listening to, and they're continuously giving you feedback that is not really helpful. They're telling you things that you should do it this way, you should change this. At that point, I would walk away from the job because it would be so much better than just staying. And so there's no point in staying with a client when they're like this. And so if you need help with finding the perfect clients for your business, click the link in my bio, schedule your free call, and I'll show you how to get 10 qualified leads per month with no extra cost. See you guys in the next one.